On this episode, some actual real-life tactical advice on how to make the worst time of your life not any worse. This real estate stuff is not easy, so send me your questions and I will answer them. This is the Ask Jason Show. Hello everybody, my name is Jason Piercey and this is episode 141 of the Ask Jason Show. I gotta pause immediately because Joe's like, what are you looking for? What are you trying to do? He forgot his coffee. It's fair. Oh, can we see your mug?
It's root beer.
Can we see it? So, is this good? Can you see it? Do I need it like angled or something? It says I thought that director Joe gave me this mug, but it was actually his wife, One-Eyed Kelly. And One-Eyed Kelly also gave him a mug that says Director Joe, which is glorious. You want it back? And maybe for context, should I explain One-Eyed Kelly? His wife's name is Kelly. She has two eyes. She spells it Kelli. Fondly, Director Joe refers to her as One-Eyed Kelly. Which, now that I think about it, if I approach this conversation from like a very inclusive, borderline woke standpoint, that's potentially very offensive to the people who are like not fully sighted. Like if you're a pirate, I'm sorry. Arr. Speaking of pirates, the Newfoundland Rogues, who are our local professional basketball team, started their season opener this past Friday night, and their mascot is Peter Easton, which is cool. So Peter Easton, of course, is a pirate from the Harbor Grace area. He's like a real life badass, right? Other pirates would send people in to murder him, to hunt him down, to take his treasure and stuff. And Peter Easton would fight him off, be like, "You fought pretty hard. You're pretty good. You want to come over and work for me instead?" Like, he was just like that guy that like the mafia comes after, and he says to the mafia, No. I'm not stuck in here with you. You're stuck in here with me." And it's like, that was a real life Peter Easton. So anyway, he's the mascot of the Newfoundland Rogues. So that's not what this episode is meant to be about. However, I guess you see we're in a different place. We're in a different place because we're in the process of building a new set for the Ask Jason Show, and also for all of the content that we will create with the Ask team, being our real estate sales team. So, and again, I'll stick to what we've always said, that the Ask Jason Show is about providing all the best information we can with no expectation of reciprocation and not necessarily asking for business, but just to provide you with everything that we can for you to make good decisions. The Ask team is the place where we go to execute on your real estate goals. So if you want somebody to help you buy or sell a house, that content is going to revolve a lot around those things. This is purely, what do we call it? Infotainment, edutainment. Like, it's meant to be like fun and engaging, but also valuable information. I'm so easy. You swept up down here, so all the dander and stuff from the dog, from Ray. Oh, how handsome is Ray? Arsehole though, can't breathe around him. So we're building a new set. In the meantime, we needed somewhere to film. And the old set just was old, didn't work anymore. So we said, why don't we just perch here in the corner so you can see like Joe's real life. This is his real life. Like, he's obsessed with Michael Myers. And I don't mean like, your Faja. I don't know that Michael Myers. I mean like this Michael Myers. Which, interestingly, I learned this from director Joe. The Michael Myers mask is built from a mask of William Shatner. So he bought it, and he like hand painted and distressed it, correct? Yeah? And even styled the hair. I'm probably not allowed to touch the hair. To the best version he could, what it looks like in the original Halloween movies. And if we also look around here, we'll see the cosplay, not DeLorean, I know what a DeLorean is. The Mandalorian. This is all Star Trek, so that matches with the Will Shatner mask. Like, it's just super nerdy stuff that you get to see behind the scenes. This is what Joe's life is really like. Plus, I don't know if you know this, but he's a mean guitarist. And not like me, I can play along to like Teresa Maria, and like I can even keep up with some like Galway girl. And maybe even a little bit of heading down south to the land of the pines. But he'll solo out a bunch of blues riffs and like that BB King in the middle, and anyway, he's good at it. So here I am honking Joe's horn. Speaking of, like, there's all kinds of stuff back here, like There's amazing things back here. And like there's, oh, like what is this? This is, oh, this one's actually really sad. This is his dog's like Lammy. Little, did it had a name? Mary? Is it Mary? No, because Mary owned the lamb. And this was Gibson's. Gibson's been dead like 4 years, which is like, but like, and this is Gibby. Oh, what a beautiful, amazing dog. And I was also very allergic to him. So if nobody finds it offensive, I'm going to put that down. So this is, I feel like, no, it's okay. It's not bad. Unrelated. Anyway, okay, so that's where we are. But it is an interesting transition because the thing that I want to talk about has a lot to do with our histories, our pasts, nostalgia, and moving forward in life. So this is an amalgamation. This topic comes from an amalgamation of a couple of things. A message that was sent to me a couple of days ago, and also in a conversation that I had with my own parents after my accident, and we all knew that like I was going to be okay, like, and how to handle your life such that if something unexpected happens, the people that you love aren't stuck with having to pick up the pieces and not know where any of the pieces are. I grew up in a house that my father bought off of his grandfather, and that his grandfather built on family land a long, long time ago. Like there literally used to be a cornerstone on the house that had like 1914 or something, like with like your finger in the concrete or something. It's been around for a long time. And it occurred to me after my accident that had I not lived, my family would have been left to sort through all of my affairs. Now, the title to my house is clear. There's no, and when I say that, I mean, there's no way other people could say that I have claim to it. Like it's very obviously belongs to the people that are registered on the deed. Since my father bought his grandfather's house, he built onto it, and there's a garage built onto it, and he bought this parcel of land from this person, and this is all very, like, it's all legit, all real stuff, but there's no new survey and no new entry into the registry of deeds that says this parcel of land is now this shape and has these things on it and is owned by this people, and that's clear and certified, and everybody can trust it. So if my folks were just gonna, you know, just like Thanos style, just disappeared one day, nobody would even know where to begin. And the problem with that is not that in the end it would mean that you would have less stuff, because whatever you have, you're gonna have, that's okay. The problem is that you're passing on a really arduous, difficult, like pain in the ass process when you're in a great mood. And trying to sort through all of those details if you're in a family and everybody has something to say about it, and whoever was identified as like the executor of your estate, maybe they do or don't have any area of expertise, and all of the grandchildren or brothers or uncles or sisters or whatever are all fighting over stuff, when you could have just had it real clear for them. And not only would you be eliminating all of the pain, because it's still gonna, your passing is still gonna leave behind pain. I mean, it ought to. If you don't, if your passing does not leave behind pain, you probably should have left a while ago. Like, that's a dark thought. Anyway, that's so weird. I almost never sip during a show, but you picked up yours to sip, and I would like instantly. I did too. So Joe just took a sip, so I had to. Yeah, that was weird. Anyway, so by sorting out your title and an accurate survey ahead of time, and then referencing it in your will however you want it handled, not only saves the fight in your family of trying to figure out, well, Dad said I could have this, and it's tradition in Newfoundland that the youngest son inherits property, or, well, yeah, but old Uncle Mose used to have the pigeons down there, and like that's his. You'll prevent all the fighting. And you'll have it like ratified. Boom, this is real. There's no argument. This is what it is. And you can do it under your control and do it when you're not under duress. And duress just means that you're doing it at a time when you're able to do it because you want to, not because there's a gun to your head or a, you know, radiation treatment to your head or a stint to your heart, which is like, you want to do things when you're capable of doing them, not when you have to do them. Like, and just as a personal example, my life insurance is way more organized now than it was prior to my accident, because there can be little tiny things that you don't know and that you think is there. and they might not be. So whatever you think you own, and I've realized that the average audience that watches the Ask Jason show are probably not the people who really need to be paying attention to this. Like the majority of our audience is between 35 to 44, which is great. That works for me. They're my people. That's the segment that I'm in. That makes sense. But all y'all got to talk to your parents, because I'm not saying that they don't, but they might not actually be able to document what they own and where it came from and all of that. And it's not to say that they don't own it, but you're going to fight with everybody when one day Thanos snaps his fingers and you've got to decide what you're going to do with it all. And you could save yourself thousands, if not tens of thousands, in legal fees to figure it out. You might have to quieting of title. Like, you might have to put an ad in the paper saying, anybody out there got any claim to this land? And you might have to get affidavits from people who are like 98 and a half years old that have been living down in the lodge for 40 years. And that stuff is hard and it takes a long, long time. And the last thing you're going to want to do when you're trying to plan your grandfather's, your service or funeral or however you do it, you're not going to be wanting to contact the registry of deeds and figure out why this guy suddenly thinks he owns your grandfather's land. You don't want to. It's not going to happen. So save yourself the time, save yourself the heartache, save yourself the money, and hopefully get a reality adjustment about what your actual holdings are. Because can you imagine, just think about it. If I was in my retirement, and I don't mean like now, kill it for the next couple of years and retire and buy an island. I don't mean that. I mean, if I was actually inching into my retirement now, and I was thinking about the generational wealth that I wanted to leave my family, my legacy, and I thought that I had 50 acres of land that was worth a couple of $1 million because it's developable and there's this whole plan in place. And I was leaving that to my daughter or to whomever. And I were to find out at 70 instead of 100 because I'm going to live to be 100. I might never die, actually. Odds are I might be invincible. So I would rather know when I was young enough to be able to do something to change my plan. I would rather know that I didn't have the asset I thought I had as early as possible. Because if you think you're leaving behind to your family a whole bunch of stuff and that's your legacy and it'll help them, you better check the balance of that bank account to be sure. And owning property and not being able to clearly define what you own and not having a value assigned to it that is official is like having a bank account or a trust fund that you're leaving behind for somebody's inheritance and not knowing how much money is in it. Just because you think it, and I'm not saying it's not real, but just because you think it doesn't make it be, which goes against everything that Rene Descartes said in Meditations on First Philosophy. I think, therefore I am. Cogito ergo sum. But I don't need to get all David Hume about that. And this already might be a little thick for this conversation. The point of this is find out from your folks if they do actually have a deed that represents the property that they own and have it straight before it's too late. And if you think you got lots of time, guess what? 1 million people probably just died in that snapping. It happens fast. Like, trust me, it happens fast. And you don't want to be left holding that bag and trying to figure it out. Got a little dark. Let's go back to funny, happy. Oh, this is also dark and sad. This episode did not go the way that I wanted to, but I do think it probably got the message out there. So thank you very much for watching, and I love you. I'm sorry. We'll see you next time.
The Ask Jason Show exists so that you can get good real estate related information from a resource that you can trust. Now, speaking of resources you can trust, here's a couple I would trust to work with my mom. Because good enough for mom, I mean, good enough for you.